I've been a fan of YouTube since I started watching atheist videos in 2006. Around 2012, many famous YouTube atheists gradually became more and more anti-feminists. It was confusing and heartbreaking to see, and I was shocked, and didn't deal with it very well. The tide of YouTubers making MRA and race realist videos continued to rise until last year. Most of their biggest examples of feminists, aside from Anisi and Sarkeesian, however, was a little site called Tumblr. This is where the term social justice warrior came from. A place where the most virtue-signaling, sincere, and correct or not, gave you the most reblogs, giving you the most publicity. Both YouTube and Tumblr have different mechanisms in their very core incentive modeling that created these weird, unhelpful outliers of society. YouTube changed its model from a community-based video response site to a money-making per-view site. It no longer encouraged fact-checking, interaction, discussions, and debate, just how many people viewed your videos. Some used cat videos, some fail blocks, some high-end comedy or teaching, and some learned that the only way to get a lot of views on a low-end budget was to make very fringy, hate-filled, hyperbolic videos about problems where there are none, or attack the other fringy, inconsequential people on the other side of the fringe, using fear and strawmanning and denying real problems in social science, using cherry-picked or bad studies to make themselves look credible, aka poor man's Fox News. People, especially angry, bitter men, ate it up, giving people like Thunderfoot around $2,000 per episode. Once YouTubers realized they could make serious bank that way, the industry, called a movement, exploded. Feminists and humanists were just confused, baffled, and disorganized, trying to figure out what the hell had happened to the YouTube world, and we didn't mount a real organized offensive until this year. We don't really get enough clicks on our complicated research, detailed, boring videos to generate much of any revenue. We do it because we care. But truth is still putting its boots on while a lie is already halfway around the world. Tumblr, on the other hand, is set up on a reblog system, where instead of liking something, you reblog it. I never really got Tumblr except for the artistic stuff and tried to use it, but until I had the system explained to me, I realized I can't use it because I want to read and digest and fact-check everything. Tumblr is a steady stream of constant information that makes focusing incredibly difficult. Getting noticed and read requires a clickbait-like title, and an attention span of a gnat, unless you want to use a very harsh filter. You will never read even a fraction of what is in your feed. It's like Facebook if Facebook was a constant competition similar to Twitter. I still don't really get Twitter either. Either way, feel-good or righteous-feeling clickbait is most encouraged by the Tumblr model. Doesn't have to be true, people are going to skim it anyway because there's too much information, but it's a way to game the system and get noticed. It creates an echo chamber where people truly believe that letting you know that they are offended, unfriending you for being a white male, or having a different opinion, attacking you for using the wrong words even if your goals are similar, getting defensive about everything, and isolating potential allies is actually going to change anything. Building understanding and consensus is the only way to make real change in the world. Martin Luther King knew this very well. Tumblr can be a permanent safe space that so many anti-social justice people talk about as being stupid. But so can many other platforms for many other groups. A deeply well-thought-out post won't really get that many hits on Tumblr unless you have an established following already. The more righteous you can sound on Tumblr, or woke, the more reblogs you will get, leading to some crazy nitpicking rabbit holes that MRAs use to define feminism by, while we on the other sites are confused as to who these people they're claiming represent feminism, or any other social justice cause. If these are the only feminists you know, your view of feminism will be a completely negative one, even though they are a tiny fraction of a minority of feminism and social justice. Internet bubbles are real and powerful. If you only surround yourself with people who agree with you 100%, you will feel like the majority, or the abused minority, I'm not quite sure how that works, even if you aren't, and be completely unable to communicate your point to the majority of people. Your goals may be very noble, but unless you can bring the purists and the moderates together, you can't do anything, as we're a democracy that relies on numbers of votes, not on how ideologically pure you and the people you isolate yourself with are. On top of that, it ensures that if you're wrong, no one will save you from being wrong. And seeing as I've banned a max of 20 people prior to my post-election policy change, all of whom were using random threats of violence, or 3 or 4 who refused to let a subject go, or stop typing long multiple posts, I still have an outlet of disagreement here. And if someone I disagree with comes along and can provide a genuine argument, I still have the chance of being swayed if I have a bad idea. The two sides feed a culture war between the two fringes, each giving the other fodder, until recently with a whole advertiser-friendly change. The financial incentives to be more extreme in terms of being an MRA may not be there anymore. The numbers incentives will be there, but people won't be in it for the money anymore, which will be interesting to see if this de-escalates, or the viewer numbers and donations alone are enough to keep them going. Tumblr will still exist with its weird rabbit hole ideas and its actually sane members, but we can go back to ignoring those rabbit holes as it has little impact on the core of feminism or social justice, as opposed to people who are actually actively working for the betterment of society. I'm hoping the incentive change on YouTube changes the hatred and vitriol that has been plaguing it for the last 4 years, but who knows, maybe they inadvertently created a bigger monster. I just wish it could go back to a place to spread ideas and community and video responses, but I've given up on that dream long ago.